This historic event marks a transformative step in Kenya's long history and along the path of humanitarian leadership. And as we advance our capacity to deliver effective, responsive, and durable solutions to give relief and protect the dignity of refugees and asylum seekers. Kenya is a generous and hospitable society. As a tradition, we warmly welcome all visitors, understanding that they arrive in our land by different routes for different reasons. Solidarity with people fleeing their threats to life and freedom is a long-standing tradition that aligns with our society's obligation to receive all people with consideration and empathy. It is not a coincidence, therefore, that our nation hosts more than 800,000 forcibly displaced persons, mostly from East and the Horn of Africa and the Great Lakes region. Even as we observe with concern that global displacement of persons is approaching unprecedented levels, we also clearly appreciate that traditional humanitarian-only approaches are no longer sufficient. Crises have become more acute, protracted, complex, and dynamic. Resources, on the other hand, have declined, and the possibility of resettlement remains elusive. Under these challenging conditions, we must adopt a development-oriented model anchored in sustainability, inclusion, and resilience in order to continue to uphold the safety and dignity of displaced persons and to make them in some way to feel at home. The Shirika plan is our bold, homegrown solution which amplifies the African Union's call for African solutions not only to Africa's problems, but also global challenges as well. We can confidently say this is a Kenyan invention. We have been a host country for 30 plus years. And in the 30 years, we've come to understand this challenge in a better way. We've come to appreciate refugees better, and we have come to understand that the problem is not the refugee, the problem could be elsewhere. And therefore, and this plan is a response by the government of Kenya on how we can translate refugees and the host community's relationship into a win-win relationship, a one that benefits the host community and recognizes the host community's solidarity with the refugees, the host community's sharing of their space with the refugees, but also working in a manner that the social and other facilities that were available to the refugees also should be made available to the host communities. The plan's strategy to transform refugee camps into integrated settlements gives inclusion a new expression by promoting the creation of opportunity in a manner that intentionally benefits refugees and host communities in the same way. In so doing, it recognizes the indispensable role of host communities, a number of which have provided exemplary compassion, patiently and generously extended hospitality for over 35 years, and this plan therefore places the host communities at the heart of this refugee plan. Because minus the host communities, it becomes realistically impossible for us as a government to discharge our international obligation to refugees. This plan also sets out the government's strategy to guide reform to policy and regulatory frameworks, including the Refugee Act of 2021, the adoption of the Comprehensive Refugee Response Framework, the inclusion of refugees in county development plans, and their integration into public education, healthcare, and financial systems. It became obvious to us that containing refugees in camps, people who could, many of them could possibly have ideas, they are knowledgeable, people who could deploy their energy, expertise, and resource into the development of the country was not the best way to relate with the refugees. And therefore, it became necessary for us to rethink the place of refugees in our society and contextualize it with host communities. As I speak to you, more than 70,000 refugees are enrolled for universal health coverage under the Social Health Insurance Fund, while IDs for refugees are recognized by the Integrated Population Registration System. Partnerships such as International Finance Corporation, Kenya Commercial Bank, and Swedish International Development Agency guarantees funds are catalyzed their financial inclusion and engagement in entrepreneurship and job creation. And I must thank these agencies for making it possible for refugees to be part of our financial system, and to thank the private sector, including our banks, for participating.